What's going on? How's everybody doing out there on this wonderful day? And I hope that you have your helmet on, because Epic Bait Molds is about to blow our minds. So they just came out with 3 new molds this week and more to come in the future for this kind of rigging. So the first mold they came out with this week, and it goes with the other 2, is they came out with their very first lead pouring mold. Yes, this is called the Internal Jig-1. I will definitely turn the camera here in a few minutes and really focus on these molds. I just want to show them to you while I'm doing my intro, but there it is. Look how sweet that is. It's got cherry handles and stuff like that. Pretty sweet. And you're probably wondering, Internal Jig-1, what does that mean? Well, you shoot these jig heads with a hook in them, and then you put them jig heads with the hooks into these molds right here. This is the 3.4 fin kicker right here. So I'll show you a little preview of it. Oh, let me grab it like this. So you actually put the jig head inside the mold, shoot your plastic, and when you're done, you have a pre-rigged, pre-weighted plastic bait. Right there is the paddle tail, which I am a huge fan of. Pretty sweet, lots of detail. And then they also have this one, the 4.6 fin swim. Yes, I want to make sure I got that right. And if you are into a curly tail on the back of your baits, they got you covered right there. Same kind of profile on the front. You put the jig in the front there, shoot your baits around the jig, and now instead of having a paddle tail, you have a curly tail. So I am going to turn the camera down on the table, and we're really going to dive deep into these molds and see how fantastic they really are. All right, everybody, let's take a look at the lead mold first. So Epic Bait Molds is calling this the Internal Jig-1, and they also tell you like what they recommend, what hook to use in there. So recommended hook size 3/0, and you can get it in a Mustad or a Victory. The Mustad's number is 32786 NP-B9, and the Victory is a 10786 B9. I got a bag of each one of those here. I got these from Barlow's. I will definitely leave how you can get these down in the description below, but that's what they recommend. It also shoots it in a 1/8, 3/16, 1/4, 3/8, and 1/2 ounce jig head. Let's open this up and take a look at it here. Look at this. Just your standard jig head there, but it is a bent hook and stuff. We will definitely go over that because we're going to pour lead in these first before we make the baits and stuff like that. So very awesome looking mold. Of course, you know that they CNC machine this. They also make the handles out of cherry. I got to see a CNC wood machine while I was down there for the bait making meetup, and it was really cool to see them making these handles on site. So everything you see here, they made in-house and to ship out to you and stuff like that. So they also put a hanger on it just like that in case you want to hang it on the wall and stuff like that. So very, very awesome mold. So all right. So the reason you need this mold to go with these is, let's look at the 4.3 fin kicker first. So we're going to open this up, and as you can see, we're going to grab this side. This is where you would like hook your hook on there, and you'd put your other hook eye right here, and you'll have a floating jig head inside this mold. And then when you shoot the plastic, it'll come down and go around the head, surround the jig head, and you have a inserted jig head in a plastic bait, which is really, really awesome. Also, check out all the detail they put in that. This has got the paddle tail version, all the fins and the eyes and stuff like that, and the scales on it, super, super detailed. That one is the fin kicker. Now let's look at the fin swim. This is a 4.6 version of that one. This one has like a curly tail to it. It still has the stud in it, so you can hang your hook on there, put your internal, jig head. Same thing, the plastic comes down. It's got a runner on this side, a runner on this side, so it encloses the jig head. Does 4 cavities. So yes, very, very awesome. Tons of details. You can put an eye on this. I can't remember the size of the eye, but I will definitely look that up. I think it was a 3/16 maybe. I don't know. I definitely have an eye that'll fit that. It's probably a 5mm or a 4mm and stuff like that. So we'll definitely put some eyes on it. But this is awesome. Thank you, Epic Bait Molds, for coming out with a sweet looking system. And like I said, this is Internal Jig-1, which means there's more to come. He was doing a video saying that he might even come up with, he's going to come out with more molds to fit this, this lead mold. So I'm going to turn the lead pot on, and we are going to definitely pour some lead jig heads for our internal system here. So I'm going to get that turned on, and I'll meet you over there. All right, everybody, we got our lead mold opened up here. I'm going to go with the Mustad hooks first. So we're going to pop these in there. You kind of put like the eye in first, and it kind of falls into place. So just put it like this, and then it kind of falls right there where that groove is. Just like that. Get that one in there. And then our big old 1/2 ounce at the back here, or in the front, whatever. And they're just like that. They're all in there ready to go. And we're going to close this down, or close this up, I mean, and get this ready for the lead pot. I'm going to grab some gloves and we're going to start pouring some lead. All right, everybody, our lead pot is running really good right now. I've been pouring jig heads for the last few minutes. Huge shout out to my buddy Sam, who's a farmer, gave me some really clean lead in these pucks here. They're working out great. Not only is he a farmer, he's also a gunsmith and a knife maker, and that's where I got the clean lead from. So let me show you how you do this. I got the load up in here with the hooks. Just lift that up. And we're going to set this over here on this tray where these other jig heads are, let that cool down for a little bit, and I'll show you what they look like. All right, everybody, let's open this up and take a look and see how they came out. Just perfect. Now I just get a pair of these little Nino's pliers and I just grab them, stick them up on this tray, and we're going to let them all cool down for a little while. But we got plenty of jig heads to go for quite a while. All right, everybody, as you can see, we got a bunch of jig heads made, but we still got to do 2 more steps of these jig heads. So right here is the runner, or the sprue on this one. This is a pair of flush cut pliers or snips that I got from Walmart. So you just put it like that, nice and clean. That was like a 1/2 ounce. Let's do a smaller one there. I think this is a 1/8. Yep. So you just take it right here, put it right on top. Boom. You want to do the cutting, you don't want to twist or anything, and it makes a nice clean cut. Also, your cutting has to be perfect anyways, because these are going to be encapsulated with plastic. So the next step is going to include this bond coat, but I'm going to go ahead and cut all these off right now, and then we'll talk about this bond coat. So we got all of our jig heads cleaned up, like nice and snipped, nice and clean. So let's talk about this LureWorks bond coat. So you don't have to do this step if you don't want to. But I did hear that, you know, there is a chance that your lead could corrode while it's in the bait, you know, going through the water and stuff like that. Also, your plastic might rip off of this easier. This bond coat kind of makes like a tacky-like surface to it, so your plastic will really adhere to it and make a nice solid bait, and it'll keep your lead from corroding. So I got a little bit in a water bottle cap right here. I do recommend, and I heard this from everybody else, is you don't want to dip these because you don't want to get any of this bonding coat on the eye of the hook. So we're just going to brush some of this on all over it like that. We're going to flip it, and then I got a box over here next to me, and then we just take this hook and we just stick it in the box like that. So I guess I got a little bit on my fingers there. So, and that's what we're going to do. We're going to do a bunch of these, get them all ready to go. Like I said, that's why I did a bunch of jig heads for now. So I will have these in reserve so I can just grab them, put them in the mold, and start shooting baits. So I'm going to get these all bond coated, and then we're going to start making some baits here in just a little bit. All right, everybody, I got these all bond coated. It came out looking pretty good. I got a fan to the left. We're going to let them sit underneath this fan for about 15 minutes before we start making some baits. And then took me like maybe 15-20 minutes to do all these. Not time consuming at all. Came out pretty good. I don't know what the cure time is in this, but we're going to go maybe 15-20 minutes, then we're going to start making baits. I got 3 remelts over here. I got like a pearl with definitely some Holoshift in it. I got 3 different pucks mixing together. I got 3 different pucks in this one. I got like a brownish red and an orange and like a dirty chartreuse. Definitely Holoshift in those for 8-bit baits. And then there's a lot of Holoshift in that bottom color and this top color. So like I said, I was thinking of like a pearl, whatever this makes, and I need like a green color, and then we'll do a laminate after we shoot these just to see how the molds work. So I'm gonna let this sit for a little bit, and then we'll put these in the mold and start making some baits. All right, everybody, I'm getting these loaded up, getting ready to shoot them for the first time. So here's a 1/4 ounce right there. We're gonna put it right into the mold, let it lock into place. Here's a 3/16. Gonna put it around that stud, let it get in place there. I'm going from 3/16 to 1/2 ounce. So there they all are inside the mold, ready to go. So we're gonna lay this down and we're gonna close it. I just took these molds off of the hot plate to the side here, kind of get them up to temperature so we get some good shoots. And we're gonna get these in the vise, heat up our plastic, start shooting some baits. All right, everybody, we got this up to temperature. I doctored it up a little bit. I added a little bit of blue pearl to it, highlight, and some holographic flake in small and medium, just to kind of jazz up a little bit. I also added a couple extra clamps because this mold is a little taller, and my vise. And we're going to shoot all 8 of these in this kind of a monkey milk kind of color we came up with here. Top all these sprues off. Alright, we're going to let that cool down for a little bit and we'll see how our first set of weighted baits come out. Alright everybody, our first run of internal jigs from every bait mold. Let's see how these came out. Oh yeah, check that out. That is awesome. Yes. Look at that. Sweet. Those look pretty awesome if I do say so myself. Let's see how these ones came out. Oh yeah, look at that. Heck yeah, that's pretty sweet. Alright, let's take one of these out and see what we got to do here. Alright, so we got to get rid of this little piece right here by the hook. Then you just take this, tear it off, and there you go. An internal jig head swim bait. That is awesome. That's really, really cool. And then let's do this one. This one has a pretty good dent in the front. We'll grab the second one here. Same thing, pull off the little sprue off the hook. Pull these off, and there you go. Paddle tail version of it. Wow, that's cool. Really cool. Alright everybody, so here is that orange and dirty chartreuse and brown color all mixed together. I added 2 drops of black to it and some medium flake and some small flake. And then I adjusted my temperature. I was like 327 and I held pressure on every one of them. And yes, they look a heck of a lot better. That's a pretty crazy color, I will say that. Let's take this first one out. Yes, looking pretty sweet. Check out that color though. Wow, that's awesome. So alright, let's open up the other one too. Let's see how it came out. Oh, well, that didn't come out very pretty because I had the hooks holders on the wrong side. There we go. Let's look at this. I want to keep these in order so I know what jig head I have in them. Alright, check that out. The paddle tail came out looking pretty sweet. Yes. So like I said, I shot at a much colder temperature and I held pressure. There's the third one on that one. Almost looks like there's a lateral line in that one. That's cool. Alright. And then we'll take another look at one of these. I do have a dent right there, so maybe that was probably the last one, maybe the first one, I don't know. Let's see how that one looks. Oh, that one looks good. Oh yeah, they came out looking good. Alright everybody, as you can see, this one's already open. I demolded already, so what I did is I made some adjustments. I focused on one mold at a time and I held 10 seconds of pressure on each one. So I shot that one first, demolded it, got a good look at it, it came out perfect. We're going to hope for the same with this one. My temperatures were like 319 to 321. I also shot the one with the ½ ounce first because that's when the plastic will be the warmest. But so far the fin kickers are coming out perfect, and now we're going to look at the fin swims here and see how they came out. So, oh yeah, so yes, very, very good. Let's go ahead and pull the first one out here. Take that runner off there, sneak it away from the hook. There we go. Look at that. Nice. Perfect on that one. That's the first one of that one. And then I haven't really took these out of the mold. Just let them sit there for a while. I also left them in the mold for a little longer than I usually do too. But yes, this side's perfect on that one too. Yes. And then let's go to like, I don't know. Let's go to like, this is the ½ ounce one right here. Oh yeah, both sides came out looking great. Check that color out. I didn't change anything on those two. I just mixed 2 like green kind of pucks together. And then here is the ½ ounce in this one. So yes, we figured out. You got to shoot it kind of cold. And like for me, I just focused on one mold at a time. Hold a little bit of pressure here and there. And they came out. Now we know how these work. Now we're going to make a really awesome color. We're going to do a laminate. And I think this color will work for us, at least in my area. So give me a few minutes to get all this cleaned up. Get changed over from a single injector to a dual injector, and let's make some really cool baits. All right, everybody, we are working on our laminate right now. So we're going to do a blunt nose minnow style bait, which is like a goldish top and like a white belly. I'm working on the belly right now. So I did 25 drops of snow shine and 3 drops of white, both from Dead on Plastic. I did a 1/32 teaspoon of small black flake and small holographic, and I'm going to do a 1/8 teaspoon of this B-Scar Siren Scales from 8-Bit Baits. So kind of jazz up a little bit with the holographic there. That should do it. Like I said, we're gonna go with a blunt nose minnow style, but we're definitely gonna give it some sparkly stuff so those fish can see it. So get that lid back on there. All right, this is gonna make our belly color right now. Just gotta get this all mixed up in there. Get that siren scale kind of chopped up a little bit. Oh, needs a little more chopping up. There we go. And there we go. That's awesome. We'll take that. All right, I'm going to heat up the top color and we'll start making it. All right, everybody, we are working on our top color here for our blunt nose. I have got 50 drops of this Yukon from Dead on Plastic. It's a very thin color. And then I got 5 drops of brown in it, which gave us this awesome looking color. And then I put a 1/4 teaspoon of black flake. I put just a smidge of this highlight. I don't know if it helps or not, just to give it a little bit more gold, really tiny flake in there. And then we are going to put this Murloc Siren Scales in there. I'm going to do a 1/4 teaspoon of it. See what it does. I've done it before in the blunt nose minnow. That's a really healthy one there. Let's go for it. All right. And Murloc's like a gold to a green. I think it's going to make this Yukon color really pop. There we go. Got the cap on. Let's stir this in there now. And there we go. There's our blunt nose minnow top there. I think that's going to be just perfect. You know what? I think I'm going to add a little bit of holographic gold in the top there. Since I put it in the bottom, I put holographic silver. Let's do a 1/8 teaspoon of it. Making a little bit of adjustments on the fly here. That'll kind of fill in the gaps between that Murloc and that bigger black flake in there. So stir that in there. It'll also golden this up a lot too. Oh yeah. Oh yeah, that's gonna look awesome. Check out that color. All right, we got our top and bottom color made. Let's heat them back up and let's start shooting these molds. All right, everybody, let's laminate this mold here. Like I said, I'm focusing on one at a time. A little bit of pressure. A little bit of pressure. Temperatures were low 320s for both of them. Hold a little bit of pressure. All right, fill it up. All right, let's let them cool down for a little while and we'll peek inside and see how our blunt nose minnows look. All right, everybody, let's take a look at these and see how they look in our blunt nose minnow style. We're gonna say style bait. Oh yeah, check that out. Perfect. Yes. Sweet. Those look amazing. Let's check this one out. Oh yeah, look at that color. Oh, that'll work. Yeah. Laminated perfect. Sweet. All right, let's take a look at the last one here. Oh yeah. Pull off this little booger off the hook here. Heck yeah. Sweet. All right, let's warm that plastic back up and let's shoot the next mold. All right, everybody, let's see if these fin kickers came out just as good as the fin swims. Oh yeah, look at that. Look at that. Sweet. They look amazing. Let's pull these runners off and sprues. Get that out of the way. Oh yeah, looks great. Let's get that off the hook. Yeah, look at that. That tail looks amazing. Look at all those Siren Scales in there. Top and bottom. Yeah, that's what I'm talking about. This one came out perfect. Sweet. All right, let's try the first one here, which is our smallest weight. Oh yeah. Yep. Yeah, holding a little bit of pressure between each shoot really does the difference there. Sweet. And then one more. One more. Look at that. Heck yeah. That's a good looking blunt nose minnow. That is a good looking blunt nose minnow. I'll take them. All right, everybody, here is all the baits that we made this evening, and I did put some eyes on most of them. A 5mm eye fits perfect on there. Here is the, this is the fin swim. I put a red eye on it. Looks pretty awesome in that pearl. And I put a red eye on the fin kicker. Looks pretty sweet. And then I only did a couple of these ones. I put gold on the paddle tail version, and then the curly tail version I put a gold one on it too. And then on the same thing with the other color we did is kind of a green with all the Siren Scale. I put red ones on that one, red ones on that one, and then our blunt nose ones on the fin swim. I went with like a holographic eye. I think it matches the belly perfect and stuff like that. Pretty sweet. I also did the fin kicker twice, so I put red eyes on it, and then I went with a gold eye on that. So all the baits came out looking pretty sweet, if I do say so myself, and I can't wait to get them to the river. And that's what we're going to do. We are going to wake up bright and early in the morning. I'm meeting up with a friend, and we're going to take these to the river and see if we can catch a fish. I am super excited. I'm going to let them cure overnight here. Hopefully they cure enough. I would highly recommend that you cure your baits for at least 24 to 48 hours, but I can't wait that long. I'm taking these to the river, and we're going to see if we can catch a fish. So I'll see you in the morning. All right, everybody, we are here. We are on the river. Check it out. It's a little up. It's a little stained. We got a lot of rain a couple days ago. We're out here. We're going to see if we can catch any of these fish. And we are miles from any town or city. Can't even hear any people sounds in the background. We're on the back roads in West Virginia. You look up there, look at those mountains. Just keep going and going. Look how amazing this is. Got my buddy here with me. He's doing some fly fishing. Mountains go that way. We were surrounded by woods with this beautiful stream down in this valley and stuff like that. And we're going to go out here and see if we can catch any of these fish. So wish us luck, and here we go. Just keep hitting this shoreline. Then we'll change colors here in a few minutes. There we go. There we go. On the twirly tail, curly tail, whatever. Yes. Heck yeah. That's awesome. We got one. Yes. On this crazy green color that I mixed up last night. Check that out. Oh man. Thank you, buddy. Thank you. So the curly tail works. Nice. Oh, that's a good one. That's a good one. He come out of that tree right there. Yes. Man, he smacked that thing. All right. Oh, he fell at my feet, but you saw it. I caught him. Yes. All right, everybody, we are back in the shop. So let's go over a few things. So I did take these out there. I caught fish, and it just turns out that it was like really bad conditions, but we still caught fish with these awesome baits from Epic Bait Molds. Like I said, about a day or two before that, we got a bunch of rain. When me and my buddy got to realize the river was still up and still stained and stuff like that. I'm not really worried about it being up, but when it was still stained, I was like, this is going to be a tough day. And it was a tough day. You know, usually I catch plenty of smallmouth in that area. I ended up catching 3. The third one I did not put on this video because the audio kicked out, but it was about the same size as our first one. I'm counting the third one. When it fell off the hook, it did hit my ankle. So my thing is if you touch a fish, and it counts. So huge shout out to Epic Bait Molds. This is amazing. I think you are changing the game out there. This is awesome. I'm a huge fan. Let's take a look at the molds real fast one more time. So right there is the fin swim. Really, really awesome. Like a paddle, like a curly tail worm, like a curly tail on that one. So And then you have the fin kicker, which is more like a paddle tail, which is just freaking sweet. And then of course you have this beautiful lead mold here with the cherry handles, and of course it does 1/8, 3/16, quarter, 3/8 and ½ ounce jig heads and stuff like that. So really awesome system. I heard they're taking this to ICAST this year, and I also heard that you can buy epic bait molds from Barlow's Tackle, which, I mean, they're having a heck of a week. They just brought this mold out on, I think, Monday or Tuesday, and then this video is going out on Sunday. So yeah, Epic is having a pretty awesome week, and I've had fun testing out this new mold and stuff like that. Here's one of the baits left over and stuff like that. Like I said, the fin kicker, huge fan. This one's in the blunt nose minnow, came out great. And then this is in the fin swim, this cool like green color and stuff like that. Like I said, I shot these 4 colors, took them, we caught fish with them, but I definitely am going to be shooting a whole lot more baits in the future and stuff like that, and you will definitely be seeing this mold system popping up on the channel in the very near future and stuff like that. So everything I used in this video I will leave down in the description below, especially all the stuff you need and you can get from Epic Bait Molds and stuff like that. I highly recommend you go over there and check out their website. Definitely get on Instagram. People have been talking up a storm about this. It is a really awesome system. Like I said, they are changing the game out there. So, but if you haven't yet, please subscribe to my YouTube channel. Please give this video a like and a share. And yeah, before we go, let's take a look at these baits.